What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back, and today we are going to be reviewing our bracket so far through the Sweet 16, and we're also going to be picking the Sweet 16 as well. But we'll start here, Ty, with your bracket. You have Arizona winning it all, so you're still in good shape, but that Final Four took a little bit of a hit.
I just want to point out this is my B bracket. With that being said, my A bracket is no better. I don't know why I even felt the need to say that, but you see down here on the bottom, all four of my Elite Eight teams gone. Kentucky in the national championship, gone. Auburn eliminated. So I'm pretty much done here. A lot of crazy stuff happened that I never would have expected. The Kentucky loss, obviously, I didn't see them at all, even losing to Murray State. That was kind of crazy. Three of my Elite Eight remain, so it's been rough in this bracket.
And here we got my bracket, and the first thing you're going to notice is that South Dakota State in the Final Four. You know, they probably played one of the worst games that they've had all year against Providence. Couldn't shoot. I believe it was under 30% from three, and normally they're around a 45% team from three. So they struggled, but give credit to Providence because they beat Richmond by a lot as well. And, you know, I should have just bet with Providence. I've been on them all year, so I should have stuck with them. But I do have Texas Tech and Arizona in the final, and that's looking good. It was shaky, but it was good, and I've got here. And same for me. My bottom of the bracket is done. I have nothing to get points there, but the top is where I can succeed. I did pick against Michigan because I didn't think there was any way that the Red Hot Volunteers would lose to Michigan. Somehow it happened. I'm grateful for it, but my bracket obviously doesn't show that. But it's really going to come down to Gonzaga, Texas Tech, and Arizona for me, as they're the only remaining to get me points. And now we'll move to the Sweet 16. That is the actual Sweet 16. And I'll start with you, Ty. Let's see your bracket.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the same thing in the West. This was my Sweet 16 in the majority of my brackets. I'm going with Gonzaga still. And even after Duke's performance, I'm still going to go with Texas Tech to beat Duke. Duke may be playing without AJ Griffin. Who knows what his status is. But I still think Texas Tech is the better team than Duke. I think Duke's struggles have been overshadowed by Coach K's last season. So everyone thinks they're going to make this huge run. I just don't see it. So I got Texas Tech. I'm still going to go with Gonzaga over Texas Tech. But I don't feel as good about that now as I did before the tournament. But I still think they have enough talent to get by them. In the East, I'm going to go with UCLA, but that one could really go either way. North Carolina, obviously, red hot right now, just blew through. Well, they were blowing through Baylor until a questionable flagrant two. Still got the win, though. But I'm going to UCLA on the experience. Obviously, I have to go with Purdue. Hats off to St. Peter's for their great run, but there's just no way they beat Purdue. I just don't see it. I'm going with Purdue to beat UCLA. I think Purdue is playing really well right now. UCLA struggled a little against Akron, and if they falter at all against Purdue, they could find themselves down big. So I'm going with Purdue. I'll go up to the South region. I'm going with Arizona over Houston, but that's definitely an upset alert. Houston obviously dominated the second half against Illinois, but I'm still going with Arizona. I am going to go with Villanova to beat Michigan. Unbelievable run for Michigan just to get to the Sweet 16, their fifth straight, but I don't see them beating Villanova, unfortunately. But I'd love to be wrong again on this team. I've already been wrong on them twice in this tournament. I'm going with Villanova here to upset Arizona in the Elite Eight. I think they can match up well with Arizona with their shooting. And Arizona, I think, showed their weaknesses last night, barely beating TCU in overtime. I'm going with Kansas. I think they'll beat Providence pretty easily there and move on. And then Iowa State, Miami, kind of a coin flip, but I'm going with the Hurricanes of Miami. Iowa State kind of lucked out a little bit with the Chucky Hepburn injury, beating Wisconsin. And obviously, Kansas, got to go with them against the 10 seed here, Miami. So I got Kansas in the Final Four. So a lot different than my original Final Four. Three new teams. I'm going with Gonzaga there in the first game. I don't think Purdue has enough defense to hang in that game. So I got the Zags moving on. And then I'm also going to go with Kansas over Villanova due to their depth. Villanova's weakness is their depth. So I have 2 1 seeds in the championship. I'd love to go with Gonzaga, my original preseason pick, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go with the Jayhawks here. I think they match up well. I think they'll just let Timmy and Holmgren get theirs, but Kansas can shoot the three really well, and three is more than two, as we all know. So I think Kansas, due to their shooting, beats Gonzaga, let's say 83 to 79.
And then we'll start my bracket here. I'm going to go with Gonzaga. Arkansas has had a fairly easy path. They've scraped by some teams. They deserve to be here, but I just think Gonzaga, they've scraped by Memphis, but they still got here. They are a team that have question marks now because they've kept games close in the first half, let opponents hang around, but they have won at the end. So really, it doesn't matter at the end. But I think Texas Tech is going to end Coach K's career. So we have Gonzaga meeting up with Texas Tech in the Elite Eight. Texas Tech's defense has really came out to play here in the tournament, and that's why they are here right now. And that's why they're also going to the Final Four. I think it's going to cause fits for Gonzaga. This Texas Tech Red Raiders team, no one really talks about them. All they talked about preseason was Chris Beard's departure and not what they still have. And I believe it's now 4 out of the last 5 years they've made it to the tournament, and I think the Sweet 16 as well. So Texas Tech is trending in the right direction, and they're going to go to the Final Four. Moving to the East, I'm going to take North Carolina over UCLA. If Brady Manick stays in that game, Baylor wins by 15 to 20, I think. It was domination. He was going off. I think he had 26 before he got ejected, and he was pretty much carrying that team on his back at that point. And UCLA limped into the second round, beat St. Mary's pretty good, but it was kind of a late thing where they really didn't try as much St. Mary's as they knew it was over. And moving to the other game, we're going to go with Purdue. As much as I want to take St. Peter's, I think the luck runs out. We've never seen a 15 seed make it past the Sweet 16, and that trend is going to continue. But I am going to go with North Carolina over Purdue. This is the hottest team in the tournament, North Carolina. Yes, I know they blew a huge lead against Baylor, but they still won. At the end of the day, it's survive and advance, and it's not how much do you win by. The committee doesn't care anymore. They're done, and now it's just watching all the good games. South, we are going to go with Houston over Arizona. I know that they've lost their 2 best players in January, and since then, they have been a top 20 team in the nation, offensively and defensively, so they figured things out. And we've seen them perform very well. No really concerns in either of their games. They've won by double digits, I believe, in both. And they will scrape by Arizona, as Arizona, made it sketchy last night. So I'm very concerned with these 1 seeds here. And then we have Michigan and Villanova. And as much as I want to take Michigan, I am going to go with Villanova because they are on the typical Final Four path, as usual, with Jay Wright, overlooked yet again in the tournament. And I believe in one of the pools I'm in, the $5 pool, I'm the only one that took Villanova to win it all. So if they win it all, obviously I'm going to make some money. And I think they are going to at least get to the Final Four. It's a good matchup for Villanova. And I think they will beat Houston by double digits. I think Houston's luck and Kelvin Sampson's luck runs out this year. And moving to the Midwest, I'm going with the Friars. I bet against them once, learned my lesson. So I got to stick with them. No matter what they're going through, I got to stick with the Friars. And I'm going to go with the Hurricanes on their magical double-digit run to the Elite Eight. But I am going to go with my Friars to the Final Four. So we have a Big East rematch on the right side. But first, we'll talk about the left side. We have Big 12 and ACC. And this is where Texas Tech shows their dominance on defense, and they will make it to the national championship. And it is tough to be the team 3 times, but Villanova is going to do it. I think Villanova is just on a crash course with a national championship game with Texas Tech. It just seems like these 2 teams have been the very, very consistent teams through 2 games in the tournament. No real struggles yet. I know Texas Tech really squeaked out that win against Notre Dame, but they were cool, calm, collected under pressure. And you could tell they really weren't worried, making 9 in a row free throws, I think, before they scored their first field goal. So they're finding lots of ways to win games, defense and free throws. And if they can find that way to win, just wait till they get hot. Very dangerous team. But talking all about Texas Tech, I'm going with Villanova to win it all. I want to win some money, and I really think that it's another year where Jay Wright put a team together designed for March, and Colin Gillespie goes out as a champion. Hopefully, he doesn't return for his 17th year in college. But Villanova is going to be your champion at the end of the year.
She never called back.